Hello, hello. Happy holidays, everybody, and welcome back to yoga. I'm so glad to have you guys here, especially during this busy time of year. So today we're going to do a flow. We're going to be moving around a lot. We're going to try to kind of engage the sympathetic nervous system, get the heart rate up a little bit, but then bring it back down. So a little bit of both, just starting to train and help balance the nervous system so you can do it on and off the mat. So that is the goal. And let's go ahead and get going. So we're going to begin standing. So go ahead and find a comfortable space. Make sure you have enough room to move those arms and move around a little bit. And let's start with those feet about hip width apart so you have a nice steady base. Beginning by just rocking forward and back on those feet for a moment. Let's just wake up those ankles, wake up those toes. Each time you lift those toes, maybe try to create a little bit of space in between them. You might hear a few snap, crackle, pops through those feet, through those ankles, just as they start to move around a little bit. Now, as you bring those feet back to the ground, try rolling onto the outer edges of those feet just for a moment as we stretch the outside of those ankles and then switching directions. So rolling onto the inner edges of those feet. It might not be super comfortable, I know. Just try going a few times side to side. Again, just an area of the body that we don't generally think about or stretch. But those ankles, those feet do a lot for us, carrying us around each and every day. So taking care of them as well. Okay, we'll bring both feet back to the floor. Soft bend in those knees, and let's take a couple circles with those shoulders. Just rolling them forward and up, and then back and down. Just beginning to find some movement throughout the body. Maybe try going the opposite direction a few times with those circles. Maybe noticing one way might be more comfortable than the other. And then just one more circle up, back, and down. And we're going to pause here, actively reaching down through those fingertips. And let's bring awareness back to those feet. You might be able to feel the mat underneath those feet. Whether you have shoes on or barefoot, either way is fine. Just gently grounding down into those feet, pressing a little bit firmer into the ground beneath you. And as you do so, we start to engage through these legs in order to ground down. Grounding down into the toes, into the heel, but think about where the arch of your foot is. See if we can lift up through the arch of the foot. I know that doesn't really sound possible, but just think about that for a moment, lifting the arch of the foot up as the rest of the foot grounds. And as we do so, you might start to feel subtle engagement through the inner thighs, even up into the pelvic floor and the core. Actively reaching down through those fingertips, but we lift nice and tall through the crown of the head. Now here as we begin, as we find our center, you're welcome to close those eyes, or you can just find a gentle downward gaze if you'd rather keep them open. And just check in for a moment, beginning to observe and notice. Noticing how you might be breathing. Noticing what the body feels like right now in this moment. Do we feel strong through those legs? Maybe we feel relaxed through the shoulders. Maybe you feel something completely different, and that is okay too. Just noticing what draws your attention in the body. Our body has a lot to say to us. Sometimes all we need to do is just pause and listen. 3 more breaths here. Maybe choosing your focus for your practice today, whether it be your breath or maybe that connection with your feet and the ground beneath you. So let's stay strong through those legs, grounded through those feet, and on that next breath in, let's reach those arms all the way up till we feel those hands connect at the top, and then exhaling them down to our heart center. Again, inhaling as we reach out and up, maybe even looking up towards those hands, and then exhaling hands down to our heart. And once more like that, nice deep breath in and long breath out. Arms can come back down along those sides, and we're just going to start to sway side to side. Just letting those arms relax. Maybe one hand connects with the opposite hip or leg as you go to the side. Just feeling that connection each direction. And taking those twists a little bit deeper. Maybe next time you twist to the right, that left heel might lift. Twist into the left, the right heel might lift. Awesome. All right, slowly coming back to center. Unwinding, those heels both can connect back to the ground. And again, inhale, let's reach those arms up. On the exhale, we're gonna bend the knees and find a forward fold. So hinging out those hips, bringing hands towards the floor so you can bend those knees as much as you need to. I know I need a deep bend today. Back of my legs are a little sore. And then go ahead and inhale and lift halfway. Hands can come to those legs if you'd like, and try rolling those shoulders down the back. Feeling the feet ground down into the mat. Maybe a little more so into those toes with that weight forward. And then exhaling, forward fold. Stepping our right foot to the back. We're gonna lower to our right knee and inhale as we lift our arms. Kneeling lunge, exhaling, hands to the floor. Lifting that right knee so we can step our left foot back. Lifting those hips, we'll find our downward dog. And then inhaling forward to our plank. Go ahead and lower to those knees and exhale all the way down to the chest and the belly. Inhaling baby cobra, just lifting the shoulders, little lift off the mat. And exhale, relax. Inhaling back up to those knees. Try tucking those toes as you reach the hips back towards the heels. Just nice full breath here in this extended child's. And then slowly grounding down into those palms as we lift the hips up high. Downward dog. Right knee's gonna bend as we draw it forward and step that foot to the front. Lowering to our left knee and inhale as we rise. Nice and tall through the torso, through the arms. Exhaling, hands to the floor. Stepping that back foot to the front. Nice deep breath in when we get there, halfway lift. Long breath out, forward fold. Take a moment to feel those big toes grounding down into the mat as we slowly make our way up to standing. Inhaling as we rise. Exhaling out through the mouth. And pause here. Hands can stay connected or you can bring them towards the floor. Let's find 5 breaths. Again, just observing what draws your attention. Maybe it's the heart beating a little bit quicker. Maybe you feel something different in the body. Maybe you want to adjust or shift your weight a little bit. Giving yourself that choice to modify, to move, to pause, to breathe. Next breath in, as you're ready, let's reach those arms all the way up. On the breath out, we will forward fold. Go ahead and hinge at those hips, bringing those hands to the floor. And once again, we're going to step our right foot to the back. Lower into that right knee. Inhaling as we rise, lifting those arms up. This time on the exhale, let's find our cactus arms, elbows bend. Dropping those shoulders, try to squeeze those shoulder blades behind you. Inhaling, lifting back up. Exhaling, hands to the floor. Lifting the back knee so we can step this front foot back and all the way up, 3-legged dog. And then exhale, we're gonna bring that left ankle right above the right ankle. So we're gonna cross those ankles as we come into a plank. Now maybe you stay and hold here, or you can do 3 yogi push-ups. As we bend those elbows, hugging them in along those sides, inhaling as we lift. Exhaling as they bend. You can always lower to those knees. 1 more. And go ahead and lift those hips back up, downward dog. Uncrossing those ankles, both feet come to the floor. Feel free to pedal out those heels. And then let's come forward into our plank. Lowering down to both knees and exhaling all the way down to the chest and the belly. Now as we're here, we're gonna bring these hands out to the sides. We're gonna bring fingertips. I know you can't see those fingertips, but fingertips to the floor. Try to keep those hands just in line with those shoulders. And then as we inhale, we're just gonna lift the chest, however high is comfortable on that lower back. So nice full breath in here. And then on the breath out, we're gonna lower that right shoulder down towards the floor. Inhaling back up to center. Exhaling the left shoulder. Turning that gaze over the right. Inhaling back to center. And then exhaling all the way down. And hands can come forward. Palms on the floor, just resting your forehead on those hands. Finding about 5 breaths here. Finding your focus, whether it's your breath or maybe that connection with the mat underneath you, under the tops of the feet, under the belly, the shoulders. Maybe bring awareness to the forehead, wherever that forehead is connected. And then just very slowly rolling that forehead side to side. Slowly coming back to center. Whenever you feel ready, we'll bring hands back underneath those shoulders, inhaling up to those knees, tucking the toes, reaching the hips back, and then lifting those hips all the way up, downward dog. Okay, we're going to turn that gaze forward in between those hands, taking a few little steps so we can make our way to the front, finding our forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhaling, fold. Deep bend in those knees, grounding down into those big toes as we slowly inhale and rise. Exhale, side out through the mouth. Inhaling, we're going to reach these arms back up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Reason we lift halfway is to lengthen the spine. And then exhale, folding over those legs. Let's step our left foot to the back, lower into that left knee. And inhaling as we rise, lifting all the way up nice and tall. Exhaling, cactus arms, drawing those elbows down and back. Inhaling as we lift back up. Exhaling, hands to the floor. Lifting the back knee so we can step the front foot back and all the way up, three-legged dog. And then slowly lowering that right ankle right above the left ankle. Coming forward into your plank. Just like we did on the other side, you can stay and hold here. You can lower to the knees, or you can do 3 yogi push-ups. Exhaling as you bend the elbows. Inhaling as we press back up. Meeting back in that downward dog when you're ready. Uncrossing those ankles, both feet come to the floor. And then inhaling forward to your plank. Lowering down to those knees, exhaling all the way down to the chest and the belly. This time sliding those hands forward until we can come onto the forearms and the elbows. So elbows are going to be directly under those shoulders. Palms on the floor, space in between those fingers. And we inhale, lifting the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, maybe you can soften those shoulders, drawing them back and down. Inhale, maybe reaching the heart forward in between those arms. Exhaling, drawing the shoulders back. 2 more breaths here. And on that next breath out, lowering down, maybe bringing the other hand on top than before and resting the forehead on those hands. Finding that pause so you can check in with your breath or with any sensation you might notice or feel in the body. Bringing that nervous system back down. Okay, when you feel ready, we'll bring those hands back under those shoulders. Inhaling, lifting up to those knees. Exhale, tucking the toes, reaching the hips back toward the heels. And inhale, lifting the hips up high, downward dog. Turning that gaze forward, you can step, or you can bend those knees and hop to the front of your mat. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhaling, fold. Deep bend in those knees. Grounding down into the heels. So we inhale, slowly rise. Exhaling, side out through the mouth. So we lower those hands to the heart. Okay, inhaling, let's reach those arms back up. This time on the exhale, we'll lower our hands to our heart and we're gonna step our right foot to the back. As we step back, we're gonna open these arms into our cactus arms, just like we've been doing in our lunge, but now we're lifted tall into a high lunge. So we're gonna inhale as we open. As we exhale, we're gonna come forward. Stepping back to the front, hands come back together. Next breath in, left foot steps to the back. Arms open out to the sides. Exhaling as we step forward. 3 times each side, just moving with your own breath, your own pace. Exhaling forward. Inhale, opening, palms facing forward, heart lifts up high. Exhaling until you feel those palms connect. Inhale, you might feel the right toes touch the floor. Exhaling as the right heel touches the floor. Awesome. Just continuing to breathe. Once more each side. Nice deep breath in as we open. Long breath out, coming back to center, and last time. All right, I said that was our last, but we're gonna step right foot back one more time. We're gonna pause here. As we open these arms into our cactus arms, we're gonna keep the legs how they are. We're just gonna bring these hands back to our heart center. Nice deep breath in, lifting a little taller through the crown of the head. And on the breath out, let's find a twist to the left. Pausing here, 3 full breaths. Maybe you feel the heart beating. Maybe the legs are a little shaky. What draws your attention in the body? Let's find that breath for one more full breath in. Long breath out. Then inhaling as we face forward. Go ahead and step back to the front. And we will step that left foot back. Opening those arms, cactus arms, nice full breath in here. Exhaling as those hands come together, keeping the legs how they are. We'll inhale, drawing in and upwards through the core, through the belly. Exhaling as we turn to our right. And pause. 3 breaths. Always an option to lower down to that back knee. But just finding your focus. Feet grounding down into the mat. How you are breathing. One more full breath in. Long breath out. And then inhaling as we face the front. Exhale, stepping forward. Releasing those hands, shaking out those legs. Whatever feels best. All right, so we come back to the center. Let's go ahead and reach those arms back up once again. This time, let's bring right hand to left wrist. And we're gonna inhale, lifting up a little bit taller. And then exhaling, just find a nice little side bend. Continue to ground down into both of those feet, keeping you steady. Turning that gaze under that right arm, or left arm, I'm sorry. And then slowly coming back up to center, switching those hands. Inhale, lifting a little taller. Exhaling to the opposite side. And then inhaling back up. Exhaling, forward fold. Lowering those hands down towards the floor. Nice inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling as we fold. And we're gonna step right foot to the back. Our left foot, we're gonna walk over to the right side, coming into pigeon. So we're gonna lower that left knee down, then the right knee, untucking the right toes. And we're gonna keep these hands out to the sides. So still lifted onto those fingertips. So for a moment, just adjusting your weight, maybe look back at that right leg, make sure it's coming straight out from that hip. And just try to center those hips, keeping them square with one another. As we inhale, we're gonna lift as tall as we can through the torso. So try to bring those shoulders above those hips. As that right hip reaches forward, the left hip draws back a little bit. And then on the exhale, try to keep that length through the spine as you start to fold. You can bring those hands forward. Maybe you pause here on the forearms. Maybe you stack the hands and rest your forehead on the hands. Or if you have a block or a prop, you can always bring that underneath the chest or the forehead, or even underneath that left hip. Finding about 5 breaths here. Really slowing things down now. Starting to engage that parasympathetic nervous system, not only with our breath, but with these stretches that we're holding and pausing into. Beginning to soften those areas that don't need to be holding on tight right now. Areas like the area around your eyes. Maybe we can soften through the jaw. Maybe even through the core, allowing that belly to relax a little bit so the diaphragm can move a little more freely as we breathe. One more full breath here, or as long as you would like. It's your time. Then as you feel ready, you can use those hands, walking them back up to lift the torso. Let's go ahead and tuck the right toes, lifting the knee, lifting those hips so we can step this left foot back. And if you'd like, you can lift it up and move it around a little bit. Sometimes it feels nice to circle out that knee or shake out the leg, or you can just lower it down. So when you're ready, we'll bring both feet back to the floor. And let's try the other side. So we'll draw the right knee forward, bring the right foot over to the left side, lowering the right knee down and then that left knee. Before we lower down, maybe try bringing those hands out to the sides, walking that left foot back until you can center those hips with one another, bringing those shoulders above the hips and inhale, just lifting as tall as you can, finding a little more space through the front of that torso, lifting through the crown of the head. You can always stay here if this feels best. Or as you exhale, try to maintain that space that you just created as you lower down. Folding forward, finding a spot for that forehead to rest, whether it's on your hands, the floor, a block, or maybe it just hovers over the floor. Checking in with the breath. Checking in with what you might feel in the body. Where you might feel a little stretch, where you might need to adjust a little bit. Just listening to what it needs. Okay, about one more full breath here. And whenever you feel ready, you can walk those hands back up. Maybe we tuck the left toes, lifting the knee, lifting those hips, so we can step this right foot back. Maybe you lift it up if that feels best, moving it around a little bit. And then just lowering both feet back to the floor. Lowering those knees down to the mat as well. Creating a little space in between those knees. Big toes can come together. And we're going to reach the hips back towards the heels as we extend our arms forward into our child's pose. Maybe you rock side to side here, or maybe you just pause and hold. And then just slowly walking those hands over to the left side. Maybe you lean those hips over to the right. Try to walk that right hand a little further away from the body. And slowly walking those hands back to center and over to the opposite side. Bringing awareness back to the breath. Exhaling as we soften. And then slowly walking those hands back through center and all the way up as we lift from the torso. Go ahead and swing those legs around to the front until you have a seat. If you have a few extra minutes, please feel free to lower down onto your back. Take a few twists. Give yourself a brief Shavasana. Just some more time to allow the body to absorb and practice for the mind to just notice, to watch, and to breathe. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your holiday season. Let's take 2 more breaths together as we wrap things up. So finishing that next breath out. On our inhale, we'll reach those arms all the way up and exhale all the way down to our heart center. 1 more cleansing breath. Nice deep breath in as we breathe in through the nose. Long breath out through the mouth. Thank you and namaste.